And 1 2 testing 1 2 testing 1 2. Okay. So this part I'm going to as it needs to be. I have time to recover from a death in the family. I had time to let all my emotions get out. Then I come in a video call. And it's kind of funny how ironic that people still want to know the reasons why I. Well, today's your lucky day because I'm going to tell the true reasons why that you're staying unblocked and never coming off. It's my choice, my life. And here's the thing. I don't really care if my company gets screwed over that I don't have an eFed. Because at the end of the day, I can call real friends and still hang out while you guys are still dealing with the bullshit. Still dealing with this toxicity. I could go my own way. I could pull out. I could leave. But here's the thing. When I leave, there's not going to be no crying, begging me to come back because everything's falling apart kind of bullshit like it was last time. You know, the main reasons why I block these individuals is simple. You don't lie to my face in a video call and say you forgot, and then go around acting like you don't know what you did. That's one of my biggest peeves. I'd rather have a person come tell me the truth than lie straight up to my face, especially if they're going to go to church. Pretty much a truth. If you're going to go to church, then act like it, then, read the Bible and actually do what it says, not, read it and then go back and be a hypocrite. I mean, truth's the truth. A lot of people is going to get mad. They're going to go in their little live calls and say, shut this down, shut this down. But I'm speaking the truth here. I'm speaking exactly what I need to get off my chest because I've let this shit boil over. Now I'm putting my foot down and saying what I got to say. You want to fix the issues, it's pretty damn simple. Own up to what you did and quit hiding behind it and covering it up like it's criminal minds where you're murdering somebody and don't want nobody to know about that blood trail. Because here's the main reason why I don't really get into e-fetting a lot. And one of those issues is, till this day, they always point the finger and blame me. And I'm speaking the truth here because, I've sat back and I've tried to hold this in, but it's time I step up and be the man to call the elephant out in the room. Kevin Tate. The biggest narcissistic liar the game's ever seen. You know, it's kind of funny how you are still running at the mouth when I've not even talked to you. Are you mad because you want to date me so bad, but I rejected your ass? Because I don't want nothing to do with your stupid ass? Is that the reason why? Because if it is, I mean, sorry, not sorry, men. Simple as that. Not saying anything wrong about your lifestyle. I don't date men, so I'm putting that out there. So that's out of the way. Now, let's talk about another name. And I'm not going to really touch up on this name because we left our issues aside in a video call. But before I get to this name, Kevin, there's a lot of things I got to say about you, right? You know, it's kind of funny how you blame me for everything. But the fact of the matter is, when somebody calls you out on your bullshit, you got to counteract it. You got to go live and do your podcast, do this, do that. And you know, that's kind of funny how you're trying to hide from the truth. You know, Broski told me a long time, are you going to let that wolf kill you, or are you going to kill it? And that's the only thing that I will say good about Broski on this podcast, which there's more good things I will say about him, but I'm getting this out of the way because there's a lot of damn things I'm going to say to you personally. Going back to Kevin issue, you blame Ray for a lot of stuff that Ray don't even do. Ray's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to not start drama, but at the same time, you and your damn goons, that's what I'm going to call you guys, the damn goons. You and your damn goons want to show up and cause this drama. For what? Because you're mad because I rejected you and you can't handle the rejection? Is that the real truth behind the story, or are you trying to cover that up too, trying to make me look like the bad guy? Because we already know how that story ends. I mean, let's take a look. Aaron already told me exactly. You're the main reason why Cassie Black don't have a Facebook, because you bullied her. Let's be honest about that, Kevin Wolf, Kevin Tate, whoever your real identity is. You got more names than a woman's got tampons. Now, I'm going to fire the shots here because this is how I feel, and I'm going to lay it all on the line. Now, then it's kind of funny how you message DJ here, thought DJ would try to hide the evidence of you trying to throw Iceman under the bus. See, there's a lot of stuff that DJ's got on you that you're trying to hide, but reality, it's catching up with you. Surely as the world, it's catching up with you. And you know the reason why it's catching up with you is because you lied to people for so many years, trying to blame them for something they didn't do, trying to blame them falsely for something they didn't do or say, or whatever the case you may be. You have that hate agenda on them, and you try to blame them for stuff that was be number one. Two, you're mad because you don't respect people's ideology. You think your ideology is religion, that it should be above everybody else, when the Constitution that I read about in the United States says the right to religion and all of that. So now, correct me if I'm wrong on this. So if the Constitution says that I got a right to free speech and the right to religion, that means I don't really have to believe your belief or your ideology because I have my own beliefs, my own ideology, my own way of thinking. Now, I'm going to skip you because I've said all about I want to say about you. This is the done deal. Oh, now we move over to Devin Broski. You know the reason why I blocked you? It wasn't because of me listening to people. It's because you said one lie that Ryan called you out on in the call, and you said you forgot about. That's the only reason why you're on the block list. You guys got to learn, if you're going to be truthful with me and try to fix the issue, you guys got to learn to tell the truth so we can actually fix the issue at hand. You know, Kevin Impact told me a long time ago in a party chat, and I'm going to say it here right now. He said, if they fix the issue, good. But if they don't show any interest of fixing things, block, block, block. That's the reason why that I hold Kevin Impact and JTV like a brother and sister unit, because if I got something I need to talk about, they always there to pick me up. They always up to lift me up like I'm somebody and not just a number to them. I'm speaking mad facts. So nothing against you, nothing against ONW. You do you, I do me, and we can be on even terms with that. That's the only good part that I'm going to say, because there's nothing bad I want to say to you, Devin Broski, the owner of ONW. Now, this issue at hand, I'm going to talk about it real clearly. It's kind of funny how I go back to Kevin Impact here, because he had some good sayings, because he's actually helped me out on a lot of stuff, so I'm going to give him a shout out, and also JTV for a moment. But Kevin Impact told me exactly this. I'm not going to name the person, but I'm just going to say exactly what was said. If you ain't going to be a true friend to somebody, don't try to play this game of trying to assume people that I'm on Ray's side when I'm not. I told you exactly that I didn't want to be in your drama. But no, you went and assumed and put me in a predicament I didn't want to be in. So I'm addressing the issue at hand. You can get mad. You can get mad. At the end of the day, you're the one hanging around a pedophile that Ricky Armstrong's even got full evidence if you want to actually go one-on-one talk to him. But I clearly doubt that you'll actually see the light, because apparently you love drama. You love negativity. That's all I'm going to say about this individual. Not going to call him out because he ain't worth my time or my effort. Now, going back to a lot of things. The death in the family. You know, many of you guys know I've lost an aunt. So I had pretty much time to sit back and try to recover myself mentally and physically. So like I said, I don't need to be put in predicaments if it's involving two other people, because what's going to happen is you're going to push me to be an asshole I don't want to be. And when you push me to that route, nobody's going to like me. I mean, respect what I told you, move on, and quit putting my names in your mouths. And I'm not talking about ONW. I'm talking about this one little individual that wants to try to blame me, blame Ray, blame everybody else for it. I'm just speaking mad facts. Now, since I got all this out of the way, now I'm going to move to actually positive things that I'm going to talk about. Which, a lot of you guys know, my pay-per-view Mondo Mania is coming up. There's 2 people I've already inducted to the class of 2025 Hall of Fame. One would be Tyler the Beast Black, and the other one would be Ricky Armstrong, the real deal. So, there's that. Now, for anyone that knowed Tyler the Beast Black, knew that he was one of those figures that wanted peace, one of those figures that wanted everything to be gone and done with, right? But how can you fix an issue with people that goes around destroying friendships, going around especially making me look like the bad guy when even Ricky himself can say that I pretty much held my fort and done what I needed to do as an eFed owner to keep the drama out. So there's that little segment. Now, going back to issue at hand. J-Kid's got a lot to talk about on his podcast as Kevin Impact on the City and Impact. I want you guys to go over there and listen because there's a lot of things that's probably going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, if I'm going to be honest. Because there's going to be truth bombs that people is going to be hurt by that they ain't going to like. And pretty much, Kevin Impact's going to lower their standards a little bit. As far as that goes, on the City and Impact, it will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. So you guys go in there and support that man with JTV Wrestling and everything that he does on that end. And here's the main thing about this. I got another thing that I want to mention too. There's one more thing that I really got to get off my chest that's eating me to this core, and I have to literally say it here on this live stream here. Especially if you're in TNA, because I want my guys to quit talking about what we can't control outside of TNA and worry about what we can control in TNA, first of all. That's going to be the first thing that I'm going to mention here. Second of all, I want to talk right down to earth. That way we all can have an understanding and a clear mind and a clear conscience. 2025 is about ending. It's almost a month less than a month now until we move on to a new year, which is 2026. So here's what I'm saying in general. And this is what I'm definitely going to say as it needs to be said. If you don't like a company, or if you don't like a person, or if you don't like somebody in general, and you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. That's something I'm just going to preach on right there. Because like I said, J-Kid, I've been listening to him a lot, and I got to say, he's got some very good, wonderful advice that we all could take in the EFED community. But the change starts with you as call creators. The change starts with people that want to change and not dragged to the water to drink that water, if that makes sense. But here's the main key of this. New year, new beginnings. That means really and truly 2025, yeah, I will admit it's not been the best year. But at the same time, we as content creators, YouTube streamers, all of that, we can control everything that we say or do. And even that, for example, loving to blame Kevin Impact for a few things. I'm gonna mention this because this is one of those things that I'm gonna mention. And the reason why they love to blame Kevin Impact is because Kevin's a real guy. Kevin Impact's a real guy. He stands on what he believes in. He stands for the truth. And he won't pick sides until he finds the right evidence of what side is right and wrong. Truth on that subject. But the only thing I am saying in general is this. If you can't do anything right or say anything negative about somebody, then you're the problem in general. And another thing that comes to my mind, speaking about this topic, is my last podcast I did about the changes that need to be effective in the call community. That will not fail. Because I had one person said that will fail. The only reason why it's failing is because people don't want to do exactly what needs to be done is the right thing. That's the main issue at hand. That's the main thing of all of this. You can be the change in something. But until you actually want to do it yourself, it's not going to be relevant, and it's not going to produce anything good because you're not doing it out of your heart and out of good conscience. You know, I think Ricky and me and Kevin Impact was talking on Messenger in a group chat, and I want to bring this up also on this. If you want to be the positive, if you want to quit the drama, here's the 3 steps to do it. 1, remove people that don't need to be in there in general. That means that people that loves to stir drama, that wants to try to blame others for, but in reality, it comes to that point again. What I talked about in the last podcast was the change starts with people that actually want to change. The people that don't want to change, and I've heard it all. These same people says, oh, we don't have to listen to CJ because CJ brainwashes people, or we don't have to listen to CJ because CJ does this or does that, or CJ's mad because he can't brainwash us no more. It's kind of funny how I still hear these little voices right back to my ears. And the reason why that is because the people that's been true to me, they tell me the very truth, and that's something you guys want shut down real quick because you can't handle the truth. Because if the truth gets out, then not only it's going to reflect on you as that individual, but it's also going to reflect on what you do as a call creator and a owner. And this is the cold hard truth. People that ain't going to like this. There's a lot of people that is going to get mad and irritated and try to do everything they can to fire back. That's what negative people do. Anything positive in the community, they want to try to shut it down because they want to have that negative reaction to that positive reaction. And I've learned through the years with people I met and people that I really thought, and J Kid was right about this. I'm just going to say it. He even told me the truth on this. He said, everybody is not your friend in the car community. And that's true. There's people I met that I literally thought they would be with me to the end, but you see what they done to me. You see where they threw me. You see what they done to me. You see what they said about my dad. You see what they tried to literally do to tear me down in general. But the only thing I'm saying is this, because, like I said, I got a lot that I have to get off my chest. One of those things is this. If you're going to hold grudges on somebody and not own up to what you did, but you want it to be one-sided, then I'm just going to say this here as it needs to be said. Whether you agree, disagree, where you want to fire back on your podcast, where you want to do your negative crap, whatever the case may be, I'm just going to say it. If you don't want to fix the issues at hand, but you want to blame people and point fingers and blame this person and that person and this person, then really and truly, that's like the blind leading the blind. You're both going to fall in the ditch. I mean, it's the truth. If people really wants to fix the issues, video calls are not the solution, because I've tried that. Sometimes, Vextra had a good saying that I'm going to give Vextra a shout out. Because Vextra actually had a good saying that I'm going to take advice and write this down, because, sometimes, Vextra told me in a messenger call that sometimes you got to have inner peace. Even though that when somebody does you wrong, you literally have to pull away from the negativity, let them be them at the end of the day, and move on and move forward with yourself. And I give Vextra credit for this. And Vextra, if you ever listen to this, I'll give you credit for that wise advice. That's the only thing I'm going to say here on the podcast for that wonderful advice. Because, yes, that really hit like a ton of bricks. Because there's one thing that I was pretty much doing, and I was pretty much letting all these other things, how would I put this in words here? A lot of these other things was literally consuming me over what they said about my dad. This one individual. It wasn't Blue. It wasn't, Feisty. It was one individual that said it about my dad, and he knows who he is. But you know what? I decided to let it go. Because at the end of the day, here's the wise message that I'm going to say. And this is where I'm going to end this little short thing with 30 minutes here. Is what you do to people is going to be like a boomerang. One day, eventually, and bite you on the ass. So just remember that little advice that I say here on this. What you do to people will come back and bite you on the ass. That's why I have to bite this tongue to podcasts like I do on a normal basis. Impact's actually helped me too. Shout out to him for this. Much love and respect to Kevin Impact as well as Vextra for both giving me wise advice to help me out. So both shout outs to there. As for that, I hope you guys have a good past Thanksgiving that we already had. And also, if I don't get to talk to you guys or see you guys, hopefully you guys have a good Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And you never know what I might bring to the channel. So stay tuned. Only with a Gaming with CJ.